What's Crack-A-Lackin? Welcome in to My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Show.
Welcome into the episode of My Mind is a Weapon Fantasy Football Podcast. I am your host, Sleaze. Today's episode, we're going to start the stardom sit-ems for everyone heading into Week 8, guys. This is going to be my quarterbacks for every single matchup. And remember, it is by-mageddon, so this is crunch time. You have the Lions, the Raiders, the Rams, the Cardinals, the Seahawks, and the Jaguars that are on a bye this week. So we need to dial in and make sure we hit the right ones. This is going to be the video where you get all the information, statistics, points allowed, rushing yards allowed to the quarterback, yards they've given up, defense injuries they have, game scripts that I like. This is where you plug in, guys. Now, if you guys haven't already, help your boy out. Hit that thumbs up, tap that subscription button, turn that bell on. Again, I'll be live Thursday to Monday, just like last week, all through it again, guys. Can't thank you guys enough for all the support. If you guys haven't checked out drafters.com, make sure you check it out. Use promo code SLEAZE. We do our best ball drafts, DFS, pick'ems, everything like that. I will drop all those into our Discord, the Guys FF, that I run with Big Draft Energy. So all of these are pinned in the comments and in the description of the video, guys. Now let's dive in to my Week 8 start sit-em quarterbacks. So if you guys are new to the channel, this is my start sit-em board. Green, obviously must start. Yellow, super flex start if you need. We'll talk about high and low end on that part. Red will obviously be sit. Away team at the top going down to the versus the home team at the bottom. And let's start off with Thursday night football. The 3-3 Vikings headed into the 4-3 Chargers. 44.5 over under. Big game here implied for both teams. Cannot have back-to-back losses for both these teams. So you've got first off with the Minnesota Vikings, and they named Carson Wentz the starter. So J.J. McCarthy healthy again, and he was an emergency, sorry, I got the hiccups, third quarterback last week as well. It looks like they just don't trust J.J. McCarthy as the starter. But you are going up against the Los Angeles Chargers defense. They rank 12th versus the quarterback, giving up 15.5 points, 1,434 pass yards, which is top 10. That's very good. They've all allowed 6 passing touchdowns as well, and 214 yards on the ground is where they're getting beat by the quarterback. But Carson Wentz ain't rushing much, so you can avoid that stat pretty much. He did rush those last couple 3rd and 10s last week, which was crazy. But when you look at the matchup versus the Chargers have been gashed by the run, and you're going to get Aaron Jones back in this game as well. Now, I know Jordan Addison had a big game, and Justin Jefferson still Justin Jefferson. I just don't like Carson Wentz this week on a short week, and he's kind of banged up as well going into the Chargers. On the Chargers side, Justin Herbert absolutely lit it up last week, but they played from behind in a bad game script versus the Colts. And the Colts are the number 1 offense in football, which is bonkers. But what I thought was going to happen last week with the Minnesota Vikings versus the Eagles did not. So their secondary got absolutely gashed by Jalen Hurts, by Devonta Smith, by A.J. Brown. Good play calling as well, and some deep bombs. Now you're going to have Keenan Allen, who just exploded, Lab McConkey, who's on a hot streak 3 in a row. Quentin Johnston missed a couple bombs last week, and Rondé Gadsden is emerging out of nowhere, and they have no run game. And I tried to tell you everyone last week, stay away from Kamani Vidal. He absolutely did nothing, and that's going to be the same thing for Kamani Vidal again here. I do not like him in this game. I like Justin Herbert to have to pass like crazy, and I like another 20-point outing from him here in this game. Heading on down to the 1-6 Miami Dolphins, who are absolutely falling apart. The fire sale is near if it is not here already. And Tua Tagovailoa was an absolute sit of mine last week, and a lock of my week, or one of my locks of the week, was an interception from him. And this is back-to-back game with 3 picks. And you saw Mike McDaniels come in and say, oh, we're going to stay behind Tua. Jalen Waddle's banged up. You get the Atlanta Falcons. They are number 2 versus the quarterback. They've only allowed 934 yards passing, which is number 1. But they have had their bye compared to other teams. You got to factor that in. 6 passing touchdowns, 144 yards on the ground. This defense with A.J. Terrell, if Waddle is out there, he'll be on A.J. Terrell, which is going to be a nightmare. You now have Darren Waller down with the pec injury as well. There is pretty much nothing but A-Chain out here. And it is going to be very, very rough for Tua, and we possibly could see Quinn Ewers again in this game because I do not think they're going to do anything versus this good Falcons defense. Now, onto the Falcons side, and the matchup here is great, right? You get the Miami Dolphins. You start everyone versus this defense, right? Versus the quarterback. They give up 20.4, which ranks 29th. 1,519 yards, 11 passing TDs, which is bottom 5 as well, and 178 yards on the ground and 4 touchdowns on the ground of the quarterback. But this is not a game where I like Michael Penix here. I like this because the Miami defense just gets shredded by the run every single week. So this is where I like Bijan and even Tyler Algier this week, because I think the Falcons are just going to pound, run them over, finish this game, and get out, because Penix is kind of banged up coming into this game as well. It was almost a Kirk Cousins. They could even start Kirk Cousins in this game if they wanted to keep Penix healthy. So I don't like Penix to start, and I don't like Tua to start in this ugly game that's at a 44.5 over-under, and Falcons are favored by 7.5. Oh my, the 0-7 Jets, and the wheels aren't falling off. They have fallen off. They're heading into the Cincinnati Bengals 3-4, led by Joe Flacco, 44.5 over-under, and the Bengals are favored by 6.5. Vegas is starting to like Joe Flacco, and they should have liked him last week like I did. I had Joe Flacco as an absolute smash start, and Aaron Rodgers in that game. Now, when we're looking at Justin Fields, it looks like he's going to get benched as of now. I'm reading the updates. Nothing is official, but the owner just blasted Justin Fields saying we can't even complete a pass, so it definitely doesn't look like he's starting anytime soon here. So Tyrod Taylor, super flex-wise, is going to be very interesting. Now, I know you might not have Garrett Wilson out there, which could hurt. There's a chance he could play as well, too. But you get the Cincinnati Bengals. They rank 25th. They give up 18.8, 855 passing yards, which is second worst in the NFL, 16 touchdowns, which is tied for dead last. So, yeah, if you need a super flex play, and the bye-mageddon, like I said, there's 6 teams on a bye. I'm not mad at Tyrod Taylor because the matchup is great for Cincinnati Bengals. Now, Joe Flacco's side. I don't care who you're playing anymore. This guy is dialed in. He's got the number one target to throw to every time in Jamar Chase. And he dropped 30 points last week and 20 points the week before against Green Bay. T. Higgins is now relevant. They've gotten a little run game because Joe Flacco can make the defenses actually play defense and not have to just stack the box against Chase Brown. And the New York Jets, man, it is over for this team. This is shambles again. This franchise is so poorly ran. It's just annoying. And Joe Flacco, if you need as a start, I like this week as a start again. And I think he's going to feast again for 20-plus points here with just toss it up to number 1, baby. The 2-5 Browns coming off that big win versus the Miami Dolphins where Quinshon Judkins went nuclear. That was the easiest call of the week. Are headed into the red-hot 5-2 New England Patriots. And when I'm looking at Dylan Gabriel here, I don't even like it as a super flex play in this game. The New England Patriots defense is on a different planet. They are 9th versus the quarterback line, 15 points, 1,759 passing yards, only 5 passing TDs. That is ridiculous. That's how good Christian Gonzalez has been. Jerry Jeudy is in for a nightmare. They also allowed only 87 yards on the ground, but Dylan Gabriel hasn't been running like he has at Oregon. Now, could he get Njoku back? Could Fannin and Njoku both be where they live? Because that's where New England struggles versus tight end. For sure. This Patriot team is just on a different planet right now. I'm just not starting a quarterback against them, especially a rookie quarterback. Drake May side, this is the Drake May big week here. So when you played the Cleveland Browns, right, let's look at this real quick. And it doesn't look good on paper, right? So they rank 3rd versus the quarterback, giving up 13 points a game. But remember, Tua just had 0. And I had Tua as ranked 30th quarterback, do not start last week. 1,313 yards. 3rd best in the NFL, 5 passing TDs, just as good like New England, 47 yards on the ground. But New England has been running the ball great, right? Ramondre Stevenson last week, great week. You're not going to run against the Cleveland Browns. This is the number 1 run D, number 1 yards per carry, number 1 everything against the running back. This is where Drake May is going to have to open up the passing game because they are not going to be able to rely on Ramondre, and I guess Trayvon Henderson doesn't even exist anymore, which is bonkers. So in a game like this, and they traded away their corner, right, to the Jaguars, so they got worse in the secondary. And you got Keyshawn Boutte breaking out, Stephon Diggs coming up. You still got Hunter Henry, the security blanket. This is going to be a heavier pass attack here from Drake May, and I may even have him as my top 5 quarterback in a very bad matchup against a good defense. All system green game, Jackson Dart. This guy is him. The 2-5 Giants that should be 3-4, they should have had the Broncos beat, man. The play calling at the end there was wild. Are headed in to face Jalen Hurts and the Philadelphia Eagles. And both these quarterbacks are going to be start for me, 44.5 over under. Philly's favored by 7.5, and the Giants won last time. They make that make sense. I know they're at home still. I'm taking the points here in this game if I'm a betting man here. And now when we're looking at this defense for Jackson Dart, right, the Eagles rank 16th, giving up 16.5, 1,610 passing yards, 5 passing TDs, 190 yards on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. And Jackson Dart has been running all over the place. He just put up 33 points against the Denver Broncos. There's been a lot of trade talk rumor for the Giants to get a wide receiver as well. I mean, just imagine 2026 when this guy gets Malik Neighbors next year and a year under his belt. Woo! This man is electric, and there's no way I'm sitting him. He is fourth in fantasy points per game as a quarterback since week 4, since entering. You cannot sit this guy. I do not care about the matchup at all. And Jalen Hurts. So the Eagles finally wake up, right? And I was low on the Eagles all year long. They had their monster game against a team I did not see happening with the Minnesota Vikings, and their secondary is very good versus the wide receiver too, and they just absolutely shredded them. Now you get the New York Giants, but this is another Saquon Barkley revenge type game, even though Saquon Barkley's having a weird season, man. He's not hurt to any curses. He's just not playing great football. It's crazy to see. The New York Giants really struggle versus the quarterback. They give up 20 points, 6 points a game. That ranks third last, 30th, 1,808 passing yards, 9 passing TDs, 193 yards on the ground, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. Not a good situation here. Almost 2 touchdowns a game for the quarterback. Their front seven has been good up front, but their secondary has just been getting gashed. And you just had Devonta Smith go for 180 and Jalen Hurts go for 2 touchdowns. Maybe the Eagles are finding their stride because this is going to be another good matchup. But if they don't in this good matchup, I'm going to be a little more back to that worried side with the Eagles. But Jalen Hurts, even with the tush push, no matter what, this guy he's always a start, man. The 4-2 Bills, man, back-to-back losses for the Bills are headed into the Carolina Panthers, and they will not be facing Bryce Young with the high ankle sprain. They'll be facing Andy Dalton. So this game is 45.5 over under. Buffalo is favored by 7.5. Josh Allen and the Bills coming off a bye. I know he's had a couple bad games, but there's no way I'm sitting Josh Allen still. He's an absolute start. And the matchup versus the Panthers, they're actually been good this year. They're number 8 versus the quarterback, giving up 14.8, 1,491 yards on the ground, through the air, which is very good. 6 passing TDs as well, which is very good. There's only 1 a game right now. 101 yards on the ground and a touchdown there. Now, the Bills have got to figure something out, but their defense has also been so banged up with injuries that Andy Dalton, let's say it's a bad game script, you know the Red Rifle can make it rain. You know this guy can garbage time put up points. He's got a lot of weapons around him. If you need a super flex play this week with the Buymageddon happening, I'm not mad at Andy Dalton just because the Bills' D is so shattered. And I know they're coming off a bye, but they're still not even halfway healthy to their full defense when they came into the season. So Andy Dalton, you get Coker in his second game, Xavier Legette breaking out, Ted McMillan, Jatavion Sanders back, both the running backs, Dowdle, Chuba Hubbard. He could be a nice 15, 17-point play in this game just based on game script, depending on what the Bills do in this game. And I like Andy Dalton as a super flex play this week. Man, the 4-2 Bears, 4 in a row. Ben Johnson has them absolutely rolling, and I got to apologize. I had Caleb Williams as a smash start last week, and obviously the weather just did not plan out, and it became the run game between DeAndre Swift and Manunjai. Now you're going up against the Baltimore Ravens, and we've gotten the update that Lamar Jackson is going to be back, but he didn't practice yesterday with the hammy. I haven't seen the updates today. But when I'm Caleb Williams and I'm looking at Lamar Jackson possibly being back in this game, yes, the Ravens are coming off a bye too. Yes, they're 1-5. Don't count out the Ravens. But the Ravens are so bad versus the quarterback on the season. They're 31st. That's second last. 22 points a game, 15-32 through the air. You got to add a bye in there as well. So that's still more than the Miami Dolphins through the air. And they had a bye. That's how bad it is. 14 passing touchdowns, which is tied for third worst. Again, they also had a bye. 80 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns there, which is literally 2.25 touchdowns they give up to the quarterback a game. Caleb Williams has got to be a start this week again. Like, he's going to be on my smash play again. I just got, I'm not going to use an excuse for the weather, but it kind of did cuck the freaking offense of the Bears last week. So Caleb Williams is going to be an absolute start for me again. Lamar Jackson side, are you ever really sitting this guy if you paid the draft capital and he's healthy, if he's out there? I don't think so. I think everyone's waiting for the return. The Chicago Bears ranked 23rd, giving up 18.3 points to the quarterback, 1,330 pass yards. So they've been good there. 126 yards on the ground and a touchdown. But, guys, the number is 11 passing touchdowns. So they are giving up about 2 touchdowns a game to the air as well. This is why I absolutely love Zay Flowers this week, but we'll get to that in the wide receiver video. Both these guys have to be started. The over-under is 49.5 in this game. It's one of the highest implied point total over-unders by Vegas in the week. And Baltimore is favored by 6.5 in this game. And they're 1-5. Lamar Jackson and Caleb Williams have to be starts this week. My 5-2 somehow holding on 49ers are headed in to face the Houston Texans. And I got to change this because I just saw the update. It looks like literally Mac Jones is going to be the guy again. So super flex play with Mac Jones over a start with Brock Purdy. And man, I hope that we can get a George Kittle connection going with Mac Jones in this game. I know that was a CMC run game. I mean, you heard the commentators say 40 attempts, but Shanahan said, "You're getting the Houston Texans this week. The Houston Texans are damn good versus the running back. Their two ends they have are both superstars, and guess what? They're the number one team in the NFL versus the quarterback, giving up 9.26, only 1,182 passing yards, which is second. 6 passing TDs, that's one a game, and 63 yards on the ground. Not like Mac Jones is going to run much unless it's like a 3rd and 3, and he's got to make a play, but." This is not a great matchup all the way around, San Francisco 49er wise. I just hope we can get Kittle involved. Maybe we get maybe we get Ricky Pearsall back this week as well, which would be nice with all the injuries we have. So it's more of a low-end super flex play. Actually, I got to go with my gut here. We're not gonna let no 49er bias get us here. I don't like Mac Jones this week. I'm sitting Mac Jones. I was gonna try and figure out a way to finagle my way into putting him into a super flex play, but I just don't like it this week. It's a very good defense they're going up against on the road, and the Texans know their season's on the line here. And CJ Stroud, I'm not doing it. Can't do it, won't do it, not happening. You got Nico Collins went down with a concussion last week, and it happened last night, and it happened on a Monday night, so we don't even know if he's in a clear protocol. And you saw the Falcons. Falcons had their weapons out there. Darnell Mooney, everyone out there against my 49ers last week, and Robert Saleh coached an absolute defensive gym. I know we lost Bryce Huff, another freaking injury for my 49ers, but he's got them just flying around. The youngsters are playing great defense. You can't start CJ Stroud. He's in a massive slump right now. Maybe Jalen Noel and Dalton Schultz across the middle have a big game because that's where we're struggling, but I'm not starting any quarterback from this game if I don't have to. The 5-2 Bucks are headed into the 1-6 New Orleans Saints. Prayers up to Mike Evans, man. He comes back and then he goes down on a freaking bomb catch, and that collarbone looks like 6 to 8 weeks for him. So that's brutal there. But you're getting the New Orleans Saints, and you still have Big Buka. Hopefully you get Chris Godwin back out there. We haven't seen that yet, but their bye is coming too, so I think they held Godwin out. And Tez Johnson looked great in his replacement. I mean, the guy was flying around. You saw that vertical leap he made last night. You still got Kate Otten, who's a, respectable tight end when needed. And you get the Saints. They give up 18.6 points a game, ranking 24th. 1,519 passing yards, which is bottom 10. 14 passing TDs, which is tied for third worst, and 172 on the ground with another touchdown. So you're looking at 15 total touchdowns through 6 games. This is going to be a Baker Mayfield bounce back game. I don't know what was wrong with him last night. It looked like he was airmailing so many passes. I don't know if the Mike Evans injury got to him or he got banged up in the game. I haven't seen him miss that many passes in a long time. I expect him to bounce back in a big way here. And they might even have Bucky back as well. On the Saints side, Spencer Rattler. So the connection with Chris Olave is growing. You get the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. You just saw the Lions absolutely shred this defense. The Bucs need to get to that bye so bad they're beat up. If you need a super flex play, I'm not mad at Spencer Rattler this week. Tampa Bay gives up 17.5 points, ranking 20th, 1,761 yards, which is 4th worst in the NFL yardage-wise. So there's tons of yards to be had. Chris Olave absolutely splashed last week. You saw the deep connection finally start to hit. Jawan Johnson got a little more involved last week, and now Kendre Miller's out. So we might get a full usage of Alvin Kamara, which could change the look of this offense as well. And they've given up 172 on the ground and a touchdown there as well. So the only bad part is the Saints, they give up tons of yardage across the board, right? So 1,500 through the air, almost 200 on the ground. It's almost 1,700 yards just to the quarterback. But they don't give up touchdowns, man. They've only given up 4. They get real tough in the red zone. So I like Baker Mayfield as an automatic start, so I'm not letting one game throttle me off of him. And then Spencer Rattler, if you need a super flex play, I'm not mad at it this week, again, because it's by Mageddon. The game that everyone is going to be glued to this week, the highest implied point total game of the week. All systems green. Dak Prescott and the Dallas Cowboys are headed into the Denver Broncos, who scored 33 points in the 4th quarter. And that's like 60 freaking, I don't know what it is, like 50 fantasy points for Bo Nix back-to-back just in the 4th quarter. The Denver Broncos got to get this going before the 4th quarter starts, so this season's never going to work out like this. But they are 5-2. Denver is favored by 3.5. Cowboys are 3-1. Now, with Dak Prescott, normally, when I look at the Denver Bronco defense, I'm normally trying to stay away because they are just one of the best, if not the best defense across the board, right? So versus the quarterback, they rank 4th, giving up 14 points, 1,461 passing yards, only 7 passing TDs, and 57 rushing yards, 2 TDs on the ground. Not a good defense to play against, but when you are Dak Prescott right now with CeeDee Lamb back, I know he may draw Patrick Surtain. could be a bit of a lower game for him because of that. But George Pickens, what's happened with the emergence of him since CeeDee Lamb going down is he's become a better wide receiver to learn more of the playbook, to be more versatile instead of just a deep jump ball go-getter. And it looks great. And Jake Ferguson is an absolute nightmare. Javonte Williams is balling. This offense is like the Bengals of last year, and you got to start him regardless. Like, I don't like the matchup at all at Mile High, but I just can't sit Dak right now. On to the Bo Nix side, number one score of the week last week, all in one quarter. It was absolutely bonkers, and you get the Dallas Cowboys. There's nothing better than this. This is the worst team in football, and this is the worst team in football beyond the worst defense in football, right? So they give up 25.1 points per game to the quarterback, dead last, right? Behind them is the Ravens, giving up 21.8. That is how bad the average of this Cowboys defense is since losing Micah Parsons. 1,938 passing yards, dead last. 16 passing TDs, dead last. 222 on the ground, dead last. And 3 rushing touchdowns on the ground, dead last. Bo Nix is a smash absolute start this week. No matter what, don't even think about it. Get him in your lineup. The 1-6 Titans, after firing Brian Callahan, you saw a little bit of kind of a better game, I'd say, for Cam Ward, but this is not the game you want Cam Ward. Even in a super flex, you're going up the Indianapolis Colts. The Titans are 1-6. The Colts are 6-1. The over-under is 47.5. That seems high, right, with the Tennessee Titans. But when the Colts are scoring 38 points a game, all the freaking Titans need is 11 to get that over. So it's bonkers. So when I'm looking at Daniel Jones, or let's look at Cam Ward first, sorry. The Indianapolis Colts defense has been good. They rank 18th versus the quarterback, giving up 17.2, 1,914 yards. They give up a ton of yards, 13 touchdowns, and they've given up 104 on the ground. Now, obviously, you hope Calvin Ridley's back out there to even help this offense because you saw, Alec Ayamanor get Christian Gonzalez last week. Chimera DK had a little breakout. Chigga Conquo and Gunnar Helm splitting share. They're not good there. So, I'm not starting Cam Ward even in a super flex situation. If I'm desperate, maybe it's 11 points. He has not been good this year. This team is absolute shambles. Now, on to the Colts side. Danny Dimes, why I don't like as a start this week is what we just talked about. Like, this could be 38-10 at halftime. That's how bad the Titans have been. The Colts are at home. Jonathan Taylor's been an absolute monster. They may get Josh Downs back off concussion as well. And I wish they just traded Adonai Mitchell. Man, I like that guy so much. He's just buried his talent on the bench. It drives me nuts. But I don't think Danny Dimes is going to need, if he doesn't say, like, let's say we come out and he doesn't score, 2 touchdowns in the first half or the first quarter. This could be the all Jonathan Taylor show and the all control the clock and just end the game because the Titans are so bad show. So I like him more as a super flex play and a low end one just because of game script here and the Titans are so bad. But when you're looking at the Titans, we'll talk about both. The Titans versus the quarterback, they rank 10th, giving up 15 points a game. So they've actually been good. 1,583 yards, 4 touchdowns, 131 on the ground, and 1 touchdown. They've only given up 5 total touchdowns as a quarterback. So this is where Jonathan Taylor's going to absolutely eat him alive. Oh, boy, like Cam Scatterbo says, man, buckle up that chin strap. Sunday night football is going to be the Aaron Rodgers revenge game against the Green Bay Packers. Tell me the NFL just doesn't know how to just market, man. Sunday night football, this is going to be absolutely lit. Now, I know Jordan Love has been disappointing, right? And it hasn't been great. And maybe we get Christian Watson back out there this week as well to go along with Matthew Golden and Romeo Doubs. And we all know that Josh Jacobs probably going to score a touchdown every single game with the rate that he's going. He's like 14 for 15 games with a touchdown, which is bonkers. Now, you got to like this here because the Steelers are this weird, I don't know if you've been watching their games like full send. Like they have a good run D one week and then a bad run D, and it's on and off. So good run D, bad run D. This is where I think they're going to have a good run D at home here. So the Pittsburgh Steelers really, really struggle versus the pass game and versus the quarterback. They give up 20 points, 0-9. They rank 28th. That is 5th worst, 1,694 yards, 5 passing touchdowns as well. So not a good number there. Sorry, not 5 passing touchdowns. I read it wrong. 10 passing touchdowns and 108 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns. But Jordan Love has been running a little more, but not a lot. But I expect this to be a bigger game for Jordan Love here. He's going to have to live up to the hype. The over-under right now is currently at 44.5. Green Bay is favored by 3.5 on the road. And this is just going to be fireworks, I feel like. This is another one of those where I kind of called out Joe Flacco in the Bengals versus Steelers game. I think this is over. I think it's going to be a shootout game, and I think both quarterbacks are going to have to floss and show off their swag here in this game. Now, to the Aaron Rodgers side, this guy's just been as efficient as it gets, and this Packer defense has not been as good as it's supposed to be. So right now they rank 19th. They give up 17.3. They've given up 1384 on the ground and 10 passing touchdowns to go along with 1 rushing touchdown and 44 yards. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers isn't running much in his old age, but they may get Calvin Austin back in this game. Roman Wilson's kind of getting a little, feel to himself in his second year, and DK Metcalf needs to get more volume. It's absolutely crazy. But you're playing the Packers. This is like, I feel like it's a must start for Aaron Rodgers playing Green Bay. I think he's just going to be absolutely pissed off and go absolutely nuclear. And he's been one of the most efficient quarterbacks at age 41. And I like both these quarterbacks as a start in this game. Last but not least, Monday Night Football, the Washington Commanders, and I believe it's going to be Marcus Mariota. I know that JD5 gave his thumbs up coming out of the tent last week and could be okay, but I just don't see it happening with that knee, man. It's not looking good for them. Didn't mean to pull up Jordan Love there. And they're taking on the Kansas City Chiefs at Arrowhead, who are on a mission. 47.5, and Kansas City is favored by 10.5. That kind of shows you right there that Vegas isn't buying that Jaden Daniels is going to be out there either. So when I look at Mariota, do I like the matchup at all? No. And this is super flex based only, right? The Kansas City Chiefs rank 5th. They give up 14.5, 1227 through the air, 7 passing TDs, 187 on the ground, and 3 touchdowns on the ground. So Mariota can still run at his old age. But we also don't know if Terry McLaurin or Debo are going to be out there. So if Terry McLaurin and Debo aren't out there, I'm definitely taking Mariota down to red, not start. Because we saw how the offense even looked with JD5, with Jalen Lane, Luke McCaffrey, who did absolutely nothing, and then you had Chris Moore as well. They need their studs back out there. This is just a fact. So if they're not out there, I'm not starting Mariota. The matchup is brutal, but I do think he can be serviceable enough with the rushing upside and like 15 to 18 fantasy points in a game. Maybe they're in garbage time. This Patrick Mahomes-led Chief offense is going to be number 1 in fantasy football. Patrick Mahomes is going to be number 1. He got his number 1 superstar, Rashee Rice, back, and he went for 10 targets and 2 touchdowns in his first freaking game. It is wheels up. They're going to blow the lid off the Commanders. That's why I like, because they're not going to bench a 30, I don't know what Mariota's 32-year-old vet. He's going to probably play the whole game through if JD5 doesn't play, and he can give you garbage time points to be enough for a super flex play, even though the Chiefs' defense is phenomenal. So Patrick Mahomes is a must start for the rest of the season, and Mariota, super flex if you need based off game script. Thanks for rocking with me today. That's the end of the episode. That is every single quarterback you should start, sit, or super flex heading into your week 8, guys. Remember, if you have any questions, as always, drop them down below. I try to answer every single one of them, regardless if it doesn't pertain to this video or not. If you guys haven't already, on your way out, make sure you help me out. Tap that thumbs up, hit that subscription, turn that bell on so you don't miss the video, so you don't miss when I'm live. We're going to be live again all weekend long. If you guys haven't checked out the guys, FF or drafters.com, and signed up using promo code SLEEZE, shout out to the sponsor. Make sure you check those out. They are pinned in the comments and in the description of the video. We cover everything off-stream fantasy football for you guys. Roster reviews, trades, dynasty values, everything. So make sure you take a look at that if you guys want to off-stream. And then my next video will be running backs, wide receivers, and tight ends. Hopefully I get them all out today. We're back on the grind, baby. Then tomorrow is the rankings, and then we do smash starts, sleepers, and possibly some buy low, sell highs. But I did that last week, so I might throw something new in there this week at the end. But thank you guys for listening. Again, I hope you guys enjoyed the content. Sleaze Bomb out. I'll catch you in the next episode.